When I married Greg, I knew it wouldn't be a fairy tale. He was kind, stable, and good to me, but he wasn't a man of passion or depth, and I was okay with that until I wasn't. I was 42, and after years of disappointment in relationships, I thought a quiet life with Greg would bring peace. What I didn't expect was Ethan. Ethan was Greg's 19-year-old son from a previous marriage. He moved in with us after finishing high school, just before starting community college. He was tall, with deep-set blue eyes and messy hair that always looked like he'd just rolled out of bed. He barely spoke to me when he first arrived. Polite, sure, but distant. We were strangers, thrown into the same house, with a forced label neither of us asked for. Greg worked long hours, often leaving at dawn and returning well after dinner. He was managing a highway expansion project out of town, and the job consumed him. I was used to being alone, but something about sharing the house with Ethan began to feel different. At first, it was subtle. I'd catch him looking at me a little too long during breakfast. When I asked if he needed anything, his eyes would flicker to places on my body they shouldn't. I told myself it was nothing. Teenage curiosity, a harmless glance. But the way my stomach flipped told me it wasn't. Things shifted the week Greg left for a 2-week job out of state. It was just Ethan and me in the house, and the energy changed almost immediately. He started coming out of his room more. He'd linger in the kitchen when I was cooking, ask questions about ingredients, watch me move. The silence between us started to feel thick, charged, like something unspoken was swelling, and neither of us dared name it. One night, I made baked ziti and set the table for two. He came down in sweatpants and a black t-shirt, barefoot, freshly showered. His hair was still damp, and there was something unusually gentle in his eyes when he sat across from me. "This is really good," he said between bites. "Better than anything Dad ever makes." I smiled, flattered. "Thank you. I learned from my mom." He nodded, quiet for a moment. "She must have been amazing." "She was," I said softly. "And also very lonely." He looked up. "What do you mean?" I hesitated. "She married someone she respected but didn't really love. She thought it would be enough." His gaze didn't leave mine. "Was it?" "No," I admitted. The silence between us wasn't awkward. It was heavy. He looked at me like he understood something I hadn't even fully said. That night, after I cleaned the dishes and turned off the lights, I walked past Ethan's room on the way to mine. His door was slightly ajar. I caught a flicker of light and paused. I could hear faint noises, quick, rhythmic, and unmistakable. My heart dropped. Then I heard it. My name, whispered, repeated, like a confession. I froze. The floor under me might as well have vanished. I didn't mean to eavesdrop. I didn't want to hear that. But I had. I walked quietly to my room, locked the door, and stood there, breath shallow, hands trembling. My body was reacting in ways I didn't want to admit. Shame clawed at me, curiosity too. I should have been disgusted, but I wasn't. The next morning, I made coffee, like nothing had happened. Ethan walked into the kitchen wearing a hoodie, eyes downcast. He poured himself a mug and sat in silence. "Morning," I said, forcing steadiness into my voice. "Morning," he muttered. He didn't meet my gaze, and I couldn't stop my mind from replaying the night before, the sound of my name in his mouth, the desire in it. Later that afternoon, I found him outside, sitting on the porch steps. I sat beside him, the air thick with summer heat. "Ethan, can we talk?" He glanced at me, then back down. "Yeah, sure. I don't want to make this more awkward than it already is." I began carefully. "But I heard something last night." His whole body stiffened. I'm sorry. I didn't think." I raised a hand gently. "I'm not mad. I just want honesty." His throat bobbed. "It didn't mean anything." It sounded like it did. He finally met my eyes. "I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable." "You didn't," I whispered. We were sitting too close. I could feel the heat of his skin. He looked so young, and yet not. There was hurt in his eyes. Craving. I saw myself reflected in it. My own aching hunger. I reached out, slowly, and touched his hand. "This can't happen," I said. "But I understand why it almost did." He nodded, breathing shakily. "I think about you, all the time. I know I shouldn't." My voice was barely audible. "I think about you too." He leaned in, inches from my lips. "Tell me to stop." I couldn't. The kiss was soft at first, gentle, curious. Then it deepened, hungry, frantic. We pulled back, eyes wide, realizing the line we'd just crossed. That night, I locked my bedroom door again. Not to keep him out, but to keep myself in. But it didn't, because 3 nights later,